Okay, here we are, August 25th.
I was like, look at my watch.
Is that right?
What's
I'm
the
glad
date?
you were looking at the watch. 'Cause I don't, Charles has my phone now, so I don't know what the date is. It is the 25th. Saturday night, Tulsa, Oklahoma, River Spirit Casino. We are backstage at Paradise Cove. And I am here with Kevin Martin of Candlebox. What's up, Kevin?
Good to see you, man. How beautiful is this place?
It is really nice.
I'm not kidding. Like, it's pretty amazing.
Okay, so you come in on a bus or whatever, and you come here. You come back to the backstage area. Did you get a room?
Yeah, they give us rooms.
Yeah, they give you all room.
My suite's as big as these two rooms combined, which is hilarious.
Nice.
Like, what am I going to do in here?
We'll do the interview after the show up there.
Up there.
How's that? So have you been out to the floor yet?
Yeah, I went out there. Well, you got to go through the casino, obviously, to get to the hotel rooms and stuff. So got stopped a couple times for pictures and stuff, which always feels all right. Had some lunch in Margaritaville, and then came over here and started work. Work.
So were you able to walk around at all? This place is big.
I wanted to go to the pool, but I just no time.
The pool is rad.
Yeah.
I mean, it is
And you
nice.
can hear the people too, man. It's a good time.
Yeah. They've got decks that overlook from Margaritaville.
Yep.
And this is all really new. This whole edition,
Yeah.
the whole resort edition is really new to River Spirit. So yeah, it's pretty badass. The official hotel of Rocklahoma, which is where we saw you last.
Yep.
You like Oklahoma,
I
don't you? And you're playing tomorrow night at Oklahoma City.
I skipped Oklahoma for a long time. I mean, I would come in and play Rocklahoma, but never, we haven't been Tulsa in, I don't know how long, maybe 6 years. So it's not that I don't like it. It's just a lot of times routing doesn't allow for it. But Oklahoma, I think all through the Midwest and the South is kind of like, those are our people, and we always do well here. And had a great show last night in Dallas, but we were really looking forward to get up here to Oklahoma and play. Tonight's Tulsa and tomorrow night Oklahoma City. So
yeah, Diamond Ballroom. Yeah. So if you didn't make it to the show tonight at River Spirit, Diamond Ballroom in OKC, Manana. So let's talk about music. Disappearing in airports.
I know, 2 years ago.
So 2 years ago.
Still playing it, still trying to sell it. That picture was actually taken in a little theater.
Can you zoom in on this, Charles?
What the hell? For Rocklahoma, we came to play it 2 years ago with the release of this record, and we had to rehearse at this theater, and I think it was like Levon Helms or what's that the guy with the long blonde, the white beard?
Leon Russell?
Leon Russell. It's his old studio.
Oh, the church?
Yeah, the church. So
He's
that
a Tulsa
picture
guy.
is here in Tulsa. That's where we took that picture. Yeah, but we have not played Tulsa proper, in
Church
6 years,
studios.
but definitely jammed in that church.
Man, that is some historic ground right there.
Yeah, all of us flew in from all over the place, and we had to rehearse because we were playing Rocklahoma the next day. So we're like, we better go in there and knock it out. So.
And they are renovating that now.
Yeah,
it has gone through certain glorious times back in the 70s when Leon was utilizing it, and then it went pretty dormant. Yeah. And now there's some folks that are really building it back to its glory.
Put some money into it,
and they're putting some cash into it. And they want to make it sort of a historical landmark, which definitely should, to make sure it never gets torn down or anything like that. I ended up there after, my God, I don't remember now. It was a one of those rock and roll times at the Cain's Ballroom, and a record rep was in town and was like, "Hey man, have you ever been to the church studios?" And I said, "No." He goes, "You want to go?" His band, like you guys, ended up there somehow, so we went there late hours and drank these giant bottles of wine and just absorbing it, taking it all in.
It's a cool place.
Yeah. I mean, you got some rock and roll royalty.
So there's some Oklahoma history on that record.
So disappearing in airports. Now, Rocklahoma, you played 40 minutes maybe?
Pretty short, yeah.
Okay. So tonight you're going to be playing a full set.
2 hours.
2 hours, nice. Okay, so we're going to hear some of this.
Yep.
I'm going to put you on the spot, and I hope you play Alive at Last.
We're not.
Knew it! And you know what I thought? I thought, don't ask him that because you're going to jinx it, and then they won't play it.
I would have loved
it. And if you don't ask him, you'll be surprised because it'll start playing it. I'll tell you one reason why I love that song. There's numerous reasons, and I encourage you watching to go to YouTube or wherever and listen to it along with the lyrics. I know there's a lot of your songs with lyrics, or by the record, the lyrics are in it, and it's just the lyrics are. Well, I want you to talk about it because the song is called "Alive at Last," and it starts out a little mellow and builds, and as it builds, your vocals start screaming. Coming home and I don't know, it's just such an emotional song. Can you talk? You describe it better than me.
Oh yeah. Well, I wrote it. I had 3 friends that had terminal cancer. Now I have 2. I lost one last year, and I wanted to give them something to let them know that I will be thinking about them forever. When you have those people in your life that you can count on one hand that have affected you, and to have just 3 out of my 5 closest friends fighting terminal cancer was a real eye opener for me. So I wrote this song for them, and the term "Alive at Last" is about that moment when they get to let go, when there's no longer a fight, and there shouldn't be, and the pain is over, and they let go, and they leave this place, this planet that we live on, and hopefully go off into this beautiful heaven space, whatever it is that you believe in. That's what it's about. And the never coming home is I'm not coming back to this. I'm never coming back to this pain. I'm never coming back to this suffering. I'm gone. And remember me. And that's what it's about, dude. It's I thought it was interesting too when I saw that movie Coco and they had that song "Remember Me," and I was like, wow, that's what I wanted to put in the song at some point. I never did, but I really, that's what it's about. All the stuff I write, is so personal to me.
Shout out to my 8-year-old Atticus. That's his favorite movies. Coco.
Right.
So you just mentioned, and we
film.
listen to that song. The music is incredible. Yeah, it's very, very heartwarming. So that concept about "Alive at Last," you have that theme in some of your songs, and we were fortunate enough to watch some of your sound check, and you did "Miss You," which is a song about your dad. Right, and I was telling my buddy Charles here a little bit about it. I know you get asked to explain that a lot, but I would love for you to talk a little bit about that.
Well, "Miss You" is a song that I wrote for my dad. Shortly after he passed away, my dad had stormed Omaha Beach on June 6th of 1944. He was born in 1922 in Chicago. Almost 20 years older than my mom. And when he came back to the States after the war, he was a cop on the south side of Chicago, and continued to play jazz music. He was a jazz musician. Met my mom. She was singing in a club in 1959. They were married in 1960, and then my sister, my 2 brothers, and myself came along in the 60s. But my father never spoke about the war, and I remembered pictures of myself in his uniform and his helmet and stuff. And then I saw Saving Private Ryan in 1998, and I kind of put 2 and 2 together. And I called him and I said, "Hey, you didn't happen to storm Omaha Beach, did you?" He said, "Yes, I did. Why do you ask?"
Wow.
And I was like, "What?" And he had never spoken about it, never mentioned it, never talked about it. And I said, "I want to know everything." And
that movie was quite an eye opener for a lot of our.
He never saw it. He couldn't see it. But he lived it. He relived all of it with me and told me stories and stuff. So when he passed away about 13 years ago, I wrote that song like a year and a half after he passed away, just to let him know and let people know that that there are fathers that definitely change their sons' lives, and I think every child needs a father in his life, especially a boy. But since my father's passing, I've played for the boys and girls of the United States Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines overseas, and I dedicate it to them, and I dedicate it to those boys and girls that are no longer with us, that have lost their lives serving this country. And it is a great country, and it's in a lot of turmoil right now. I hope we can kind of bring it back to some real honesty and peace, and stop fighting about stuff, because the division's crazy. But that's what I like to write stuff like that kind of makes people think about, don't judge anybody else, and believe in what you believe in, and have faith in something, but don't judge anybody else. You just take care of yourself.
If you haven't seen the video, I encourage you to YouTube that, because the video is really cool. It's got I don't know the technical phrase you call it, but it's a lot of pictures shown in a rapid way.
Yeah.
So
people sending pictures of their parents that had served, or their uncle.
Right. So they mailed those. Those were fans that mailed those to you.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So it's a really, really cool video. So let's talk about new music. You're in how many? See, I keep losing track of how many bands you're in. The Gracious Few, right? So there's that one. There's
that's never.
Candlebox. There's
Le Projet,
there's Kevin Martin and the Highwatts.
There's too many things.
Right. So, man, you're busy, and that's great. What else do you got for us?
We're working on a Candlebox record right now. We're writing, and we're going to try and record it in September, October. It'll come out sometime in the spring. I wanted to do a bunch of stuff that was just free, but this label that I've got this deal with won't let that happen. So
labels don't like that.
They don't.
They like to make money.
And it's not that, it's not like I'm signed to a major or anything. It was a licensing deal, but they like working with me, and I like working with them, and they're giving me a budget, so we'll make a record that'll come out sometime in the spring. The Gracious Few is one of those projects that like Le Projet and the Highlights. It's like we may get around to it again. When you stumble onto something like that where you have fun and you make a record, it lives for a little while, but it's so difficult to manage because they're in live. I'm in Candlebox. Sean was in Candlebox at the time. Le Projet Morgan's got Seven Dust. Adam and I have Candlebox. It's impossible to figure out his schedule. That guy's constantly busy. And the Highwatts, even though it's Adam and Sean and I, we all live in different places. So Candlebox is really the only one that we all know the song so well that we can go play a show.
So
how have to worry about it.
Speaking of, how were the 2 nights back in Seattle that you did your first record in its entirety?
Yeah.
Right?
They were good.
So, yeah.
A lot of fun. That was the original band, too. It was people like Scott and myself.
Right.
Pretty special, man.
What was that like for those guys?
Well, I think for them, it was probably a bit more work than they expected, to have to kind of to rethink those songs and relearn them. For me, it was just a real pleasure to play with them again. I wish that they didn't have the jobs they had, so that we could go out and do it every night for 6 weeks. But Barty's he's
that's what our fans wanted to hope that would happen after that. Like a lot of fans that have bands as their favorite bands that are sort of broken up and they get together for whatever reason. Yeah. And we hope that they're going to keep going.
No, everybody said bring it on the road. I was like, I can't. Barty's, he's an attorney, he has his own law firm, and he's got 3 kids and a wife that is in the law firm with him. Scott's got a really, really good business that he runs by himself, and Pete's got this production thing that he's doing in Tampa. So it's next to impossible for us to take it on the road. I'm really the only one who's got a flexible schedule, and as much as I think we'd all love to do it, it's just next to impossible.
Yeah.
And we may do 2 or 3 more over the next year, that year.
The next 25 years?
Well, no, it's like, 25 years goes, that year started July 20th when the record came out, so it goes till, July 20th of next year.
There you go.
It may happen, it's really kind of up to the promoters and the fans that, that can make it happen.
Okay, well, you've been here before practicing, so bring the band here.
Bring it back to rehearse.
Bring them all here to rehearse, and then we'll have another show here at Paradise Cove. So I'm here with Kevin Martin of Candlebox. The show is tonight, and I'm anxious for this show. I've known Kevin for a long time, and I've been a fan since that first record came out, and my brother and I listened to it quite a bit. And so it brings back a lot of great memories.
Thanks, man.
A lot of great memories. So, Kevin, anything else?
No, man. Love you.
Okay. All right. So, Kevin Martin of Candlebox. I encourage you to check out videos and stuff. And on KMOD.com, keyword Lynn, I've got a bunch of Candlebox videos on there too. So, thank you, man. We'll see you tonight.
You're a good dude.
Out.